So you guys obviously started around the same time, but you took sort of different paths. You had sort of instant success, whether it was live or online, and that kind of snowballed into a career playing. And you obviously were dabbling at the weekends, but still maintaining the job in Yahoo.
Yeah.
At what point did you start thinking, okay, well, I want to make sure my career and my work time is also spent in poker?
Yeah, it was basically straight when I downloaded PokerStars. I was like, this is interesting. I want to work in this. It was like, because I didn't know there was a business. Because first you think, oh, there's this poker thing, but then you realize there's a whole industry behind it that you don't see at first. And then I found out like that Photo was in Dublin.
Yeah.
But obviously I was like a big PokerStars fan right from the start. So I really wanted to work for PokerStars. I was like, oh, I have to go to London. I didn't know they were in the Isle of Man back then. And then, but now I'm in Dublin already, so maybe I should apply at Photo. This one I did, and it didn't work out. And then the EBT was in Dublin. And then I met Katja Tata, the team pro back then.
The German team pro.
Yeah, she was an excellent player back in the day. I remember. Did she win a bracelet as well?
Yeah, she won a bracelet.
Yeah, I remember that. That's right, in the Raz game, yes.
So I was chatting with her then, and she was straight away, she found it interesting as a girl, interested in the business. So she said, yeah, it's really hard to get a job in PokerStars. But what you could do is you could help out at EPT Dortmund, at the IntelliPoker stand.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, okay, I'll stand there and like give people flyers or something. And I thought that was that. So when the EPT Dortmund came around, they flew me over, and I arrived and they said, no, you should interview people.
Oh, okay.
Straight in there.
Yeah, and it was like, and I stood there and I was like, I don't really want to be in front of the camera because I'm a video producer, so I want to be behind the camera. And I didn't know any German players because I started playing in the Feds, right? So it's like I had no clue about German players, and it was embarrassing as hell because they made me like, oh, interview that guy, and I was like, hi, dinner break, how's it going? It's like I busted yesterday. It's like, oh. And that's like almost every interview with like, and they didn't edit that out. They put it all live.
Oh, amazing! Yeah, great.
That's brilliant. Yeah.
Completely. And then people like were in the comments going like, "Who's that idiot? She doesn't have a clue about anything." It's like,
great.
Who is she? And then I got like, no, I'm not doing this anymore. If you don't give me more information on this, I'm not doing this.
Yeah.
So then it happened like John Duthie, Lee Jones first. Lee Jones was funny as well because. Just go back. I only knew Lee Jones because he was doing the commentary at the EPT Dublin, the final table. So it's the first time I ever saw Lee Jones, and all of a sudden I see him back in Dortmund, and I was like, interview that guy. I said, so what are you doing here? That's like, that was my question. So what's your job here? And he said, I'm just here to look pretty. So that was his answer. And I was like, oh, okay, next. And then John Duthie, I interview that guy. And I said, so what is your job here? And then somebody from the back just like, he founded the EPT. And then it's like, oh, I've just heard you founded the EPT. So
can we see these? Is there like, so can people, can your subscribers just instantly go to a link on these on your YouTube station?
I was actually just talking about that at the breakfast table. Those things are all gone, unfortunately.
Did you destroy them?
Because the things, I then interviewed Daniel Negreanu, which happened to like become like a really, really good interview, and I just have pictures left, photos of me doing the interview, but everything's...
Did you ask him what his job was here?
No, he was the only person I knew. He was like the whole reason I actually wanted to go there. Because the thing is with Daniel, I don't like him as a man, you know, it's like just, I wanted to learn...
Camera's on.
I wanted to learn like how to like play poker like he did. Because I love that he's just sitting there and chatting and just talking to people and not just the hoodie and the, you know. So
sure.
He was my big poker idol and he was there, and suddenly they said I should interview him, and I freaked out. But it turned out really well, but everything's gone. Because in this whole process of IntelliPoker being bought by PokerStars later then, that all disappeared.
So you worked for IntelliPoker, they gave you like a job with them all the time after that one-off
exactly.
gig.
So actually that Daniel Negreanu interview, I think, did it in there because all the other stuff was so bad. That one was okay, and then they asked me, so you're looking for a job? Because the Yahoo thing was just a temporary job. And I said, yeah, I'm looking for a job like right now. And then one night Katja came to me and just put her arm around my shoulders and just said, you can start Monday.
Brilliant.
And then I flew back to Dublin, grabbed all my stuff, moved to Hamburg. And the funny thing is as well, I always said if I moved back to Germany, because I never wanted to go back to Germany, the only city I'd ever go back to would be Hamburg. So if they'd been in Frankfurt, all this probably wouldn't have happened.
Okay.
And that's just around that time is when PokerStars became the #1 site in the world.
Yeah.
So interesting,
2008.
yeah.
and they've gone from strength to strength during the time you've been with them. So
Yeah, it's all my.
not sure if that's
Right,
correct.
clearly.
Yeah.
So then it took 2 years in Hamburg that I was working here. And the whole time I knew I wanted to go to the Isle of Man and work in the headquarters. That was the goal the whole time. I worked like really hard, like 12, 14-hour days, and just really wanted it. And then PokerStars approached me and said,
And what kind of work are you doing there? Like, what is your day-to-day job for 12 or 14 hours, whatever it happened to be?
well, back then I did the marketing and PR for IntelliPoker.
Okay.
There was only a German site as well when we started, and then came the English site, so I started looking after, Italian was first, but I was looking after the whole German site at some point. And then we had Italian and Spanish, and so then when English came, I was looking after the English and the German one.
And the point of IntelliPoker is teaching people from scratch, really. It's like complete beginners, and then they
exactly, complete. So it's usually, you could say, like, people came to IntelliPoker to learn the basics, and then they usually moved on to like poker strategy or something to build up on that. We always try to provide more, but we got a bad reputation right in the beginning because of this. I'm not sure if you remember when people had the avatars with IntelliPoker logos.
Mm-hmm.
So
I remember the other.
I remember. Yes, I know what you mean there. Yeah.
So that just like ruined the whole reputation of the poker.
Because there were so many beginners.
Yeah, because everybody who had this
It was
logo.
like them putting a label on them, going, "I'm new."
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like the fish label, the fish tank. That's like all those
So
things.
people go. Everybody was in IntelliPoker.
So if we had known at the time, because we were just new pros, but we were winners, we should have been putting these avatars up just to fool everyone.
Yeah.
Oh, we missed a
And
trick
people
back
did
then.
that. People did that.
Oh, that
There
was
was some of the pros actually
Yeah.
actually did that. They used IntelliPoker.
Yeah, that's such a terrible thing to do with them. Yeah, I can't believe they did that. Shame on them.
No, I took a screenshot once where I was sitting at a whole table with IntelliPoker logos and then me at the bottom of the normal photo. And then somebody was like, "Oh, Davina is ruining everything." And I was like, "I work for IntelliPoker, does that count?" Just like a whole table in IntelliPoker. It was quite funny. But yeah, so it ruined basically the whole reputation of the poker school.
Yeah.
But is your real ambition not to play? Like you mentioned that you got the intimidate, but you got the buzz from playing the game. You became an industry professional, and marketing obviously was the area you moved into. You have your background in film production. These days you're getting into Twitch and Periscope and whatever, all the new
fandangled thing the kids are doing.
that I only heard about yesterday and was told about for the first time. But playing, I assume, is ultimately how you get a kick from the game.
Yeah.
Or, would the next step be for you to become a pro? I know you've taken some coaching recently.
Yeah, well, always try to get coaches. When I started at IntelliPoker, obviously having a school around me was a good thing, having a lot of coaches around me. So I always tried to pick something up, but I never put enough time in. So I was thinking just recently, it's like this is so weird having worked for the poker school for 6 years and actually not being completely familiar with everything. Frustrated me. So I thought I really want to pick this up now, and I decided to put more focus on poker in my life. So I had coaching before with Felix Xflix, who's now a Team Online guy as well. But that was cash game, and I'm a tournament player, so it was just good for general stuff, but it didn't get me where I wanted to. And then Jamie Staples popped up on Twitch, and I love the way he's explaining stuff. So I was like, I really, really want to get some coaching. And he offered packages 6 hours for $500. I was like, I'll do that. I'll just invest in that, and then try and get that. And then went to EPT Malta and Irish Open, and then EPT Monte Carlo. And I really want to play more, but at the moment it's all holidays. So I'm spending my annual leave and a lot of money to travel there because I can't win packages.
Welcome
online.
to being a pro.
Yeah, at least I can win packages online.
I suppose,
Yeah, you
can't do that.
You can't actually play on stars.
No, exactly.
So
So I can't.
yeah.
So
that does make it tougher, actually.
Yeah.
That's fair. Yeah.
So no, the ultimate, we were just talking about that again at breakfast, how Ole Shimyon rocked up at the Hamburg event, just in his, with a backpack, and just sits down, plays, and then he busts and then moves on to the next. And it's this is amazing. It was when I
just that it's a circuit and they just move through, and if they make to the final table, they stay longer. If they bust, they get the next place to the next place.
Now or something.
Yeah,
I'm sure he is. Yeah, yeah. I think that's the attraction for a lot of people, particularly when they look from the outside. They see guys traveling around the world. Like I remember when I started playing the EPT circuit, there was a lot of young Scandinavian players, and they didn't actually live anywhere. They literally just went from stop to stop, and in between stops they'd like go to some city and grind online in a hotel or something.
Yeah.
So I think that's something a lot.
And was that, I know obviously you're a family man, but did that side of it ever appeal to you? Like you would have worked in jobs in your past where you travelled a lot.
Yeah.
So did you kind of see, poker, I guess I'll be travelling? Because we travel probably like once a month nearly. For a long
I think
weekend
2
or
years
whatever
was the year I travelled the most, and I worked at, I had 32 trips that year. But it's ironic because my original reason for wanting to get out while doing poker as a job rather than just something that I was doing in the evenings as a hobby was the job that I had at the time. I was running my own computer consultancy business. There was a lot of travel and there was a lot of sitting at a computer, and I thought, okay, I don't want to do either of those things anymore. But then I went into poker, and pretty much now there were some years I travelled more than I did in my old job, and I certainly spent more time.
Yeah, like it can be like I guess a lot of people think about travel and go, like traveling is one of those important things in your 20s or 30s. You want to do it, you want to see the world, but doing it as a poker player, like while I'm sure Ollie Shanahan's life is very cool and he's very well off, so he can do it in style. For a lot of the sort of mid-stakes guys who travel around, probably playing a lot of the 1K circuits, it is quite hard to justify those trips in a sense because your overheads, your cost eating for a basic hotel or for eating out every night or whatever it is, they do eat into the likelihood of what kind of like ROI percentage you're going to make from a 1K. Like so, they, as we've always felt, like the reason we play as much live as we do, and we would play probably as much live as almost anyone else in the country, is because, and even though we're also doing the online thing, is because we're actualizing satellites, the satellites that the sites run, which you can't do, and that's a lot of value to playing live for us. Is actually that we can turn into an online game.
That's a huge thing. Like for the typical UK IPT stop, we would win 6, 7, 8, 9 seats, whatever. For here, I think we both won 5 or 6. So even if we come over here and do nothing in the tournament and lose all our money and go home, at least
which is what we've been doing.
But there's been a lot of sightseeing as well. But like to take up on the travel point, the problem is that then like when you are traveling and you're so focused on poker, even if you bust the main event, you then feel the need to play all the side events as well. Because
to justify it.
So you actually just you do end up going to all these nice places around Europe, but spending it all in a casino. And like coming out, like we came out of the casino today at like 4 o'clock in the morning, and there's not very much you can do. But at least like on this trip, we've done a bit of sightseeing. But it's all very like, okay, well we don't have to play until this time, so let's go and try and find the port. And
we actually get the hankering at 4 a.m. leaving the casino, and there's like loads of taxis at the taxi rank, and we're just like, will we walk home? It was like, it's about an hour, but it was like actually what we both really wanted was probably at least a half-hour walk to wind down, or at least just and it saves like $10 on a taxi fare, which might, that's good for the expense account too. But no, like you do actually want to do the opposite of what poker is, which is sitting down in a room enclosed. You want to, even if it is the middle of the night, just even have a walk home. It's nice. But it's a strange old world, and I'm interested by your experience in it because you're not doing the circuit like a pro can, but you're traveling probably for work, or you're in the Isle of Man a lot, but you're doing lots of trips as well for work reasons, and then now you're trying to sprinkle in like poker trips, but they're holiday times.
I always try to throw in some events that I just went to on holiday. So instead of going like to I couldn't be like 2 weeks on a beach. That's like something I can't.
And doing nothing. You're just not the type of person.
No.
And so have you always, like since you started working and playing poker, have you always used your holidays for poker?
Yeah, almost. Mainly Vegas, and almost every summer at least 2 weeks to Vegas, and then some Irish Open 6 years now in a row. So I'm always doing that. And
that's longer than I've been playing, because I've been playing poker for 8 years, which I think is probably just maybe only a few months longer than you guys. But I started off completely online and never left the house, even though I was in Dublin playing for the first 3 years. I would have never even walked into the fifth. Well, I might have been in there once, but it would have been because a friend of mine was like, do you want to play cash game for like sit behind $100 or something silly at the end of probably a night of drinking. So I never viewed live poker as part of my poker experience until actually I really came back. I had a one-off weird experience playing in Spain because I won an online satellite on it was actually on the Full Tilt client. And I had a good experience of doing that, and you'd think that would have given me the bug, but I really did just to find
That's
myself
where
an online
you
guy.
came second
In Barcelona,
yeah.
And that was my first. Actually, I thought we both had very positive experience with our first time out of the house playing poker.
Yeah.
Like Dara had his fifth win, and then he went to his first proper tournament and chopped that or won that.
It was 5-way chop, but I got almost first place.
You got pretty much the lion's share, and then I did a kind of lion's share chop as well in Barcelona, even though I actually lost the heads up. And you would think in most situations that would be like, okay, I'm going to be the live pro now. But really, I just always told myself, it's like, no, I just 8 table or 12 table or whatever I was doing at that point. And that was my experience of it.
Yeah, that was my experience too. Like, even though I had a fair amount of live success in the first year, it was always like, that's just a diversion from what I do, which is to play online. Because that was very safe. Because I was playing limit cash at the time, I was making more or less the same amount every month with no real swings.
Yeah, that's why when I was still working for Intellipoker in Hamburg, I was still allowed to play on PokerStars because I wasn't,
you're affiliated but not working for
it. So I wasn't an employee with like access to player data. So that's why I was allowed to just play. And at that time here in Hamburg, I basically every month I made like half my rent, or sometimes even the full rent online. And I had this one big win where I won a $55 tournament for almost 12K.
Nice.
And that
would have been like a big 55 or a hot 55.
It was
I almost nothing like that online. Yeah.
It was completely random because I never played tournaments that high, and it was like it started at 11 in the evening, so it was just like I was just multi-tabling as always, and I was like, I have to do that 55 one, which normally I would never do. And completely just clicked it randomly and then won it like 8 hours later. I had aces 11 times and then so I was like later at Intellipoker they went, you have to write a blog about it with the key hands. I said, how do I know the key hands? I look at the hand history, and then every time you won or lost a big pot, I was like, it's aces. I was like, oh god, this looks so bad.
Look at all my skills, how I didn't accidentally misclick fold this time with aces.
Someone else at kings.
So what I did with that money was mainly I bought a new computer to be able to grind more.
Yeah.
And then also I took a trip to Atlantic City because when I started playing in Dublin, I only played tournaments and I really wanted to learn more about cash games. So I decided to do a week in Atlantic City just playing cash games and just like getting used to that dynamic. And I started playing a lot of limit as well, just to get used to sitting at a live table and all that. And then I made profit. And I got the room, the poker room.
They comped because you were there a while, yeah.
So the whole thing was just such a great feeling, and obviously I spent all my money, like more than I actually won. That was like, I'm not good with money. I shouldn't actually win. So it's just like it just all goes like into the ether somehow. Is that the right word?
Yeah.
So yeah, but that was the thing, because obviously it's a dream to be a professional poker player, and I'm just like. I think the problem was that when I was self-employed as a video producer, that was 3 years, and that wasn't successful. This feeling of not knowing where money comes from every month, that held me back the whole time.
Yeah, it is horrible. Like we've had times.
That's the hardest part to do with, definitely.
Yeah, like we've had really good experiences, and actually some of our early experiences were very positive, which I think is vital, or you just don't keep trying probably. But in those few years, I can certainly remember 2 occasions, and even these days. Just in a general sense, it's just gotten so difficult. Like, PokerStars have, cornered the market to a large extent, and I think that lack of competition, although you would hope, promotions and things would remain pretty good, has created a near monopoly, and you would worry as the margins get tighter and everyone gets better, you probably need to see the poker sites give up a little of their edge to help the ecosystem of poker. And I think at the moment our margins are just so much tighter than they used to be.
Yeah, and
I think it's getting terrible.
I think a big problem is like the poker boom happened around the time that we were playing. Certainly,
that's true.
Boom, and lots of new people were playing, and that fed the whole system. Now, it doesn't seem like there's as many new players starting, and there's more established players now. So just that the balance has shifted.
And we did shoot ourselves in the foot as a collective of pros. And I know they're a disparate group of people; they're not a union, but we did collectively shoot ourselves in the foot with articles and training sites and whatever. Now, while the guys did make money off it, and of course there is always the story that Doyle, when he said he actually released the book, enthused people into all the strategy, and now it actually helped boom poker. You now have a point where like everyone has a card runner's account and everyone has a run at once account, and people do, like, the information is there to speed up your learning curve like it never was before.
Yeah, I agree, although I know a lot of people say training sites kill directions, and I don't fully agree with that point, because I think a lot of people who go and watch training videos, they're not necessarily going to take the right information from it.
Okay.
It's in the same way that, like, you can become a doctor, you can go off to university, all the information is out there, medical books are there, but not very many people do, because it takes a lot of time and effort and concentrated study.
And I think it's even, I'm a good example for that, being in a poker school. Like I ran a poker school for like 6 years, and I haven't processed all the information that was available for me all the time. So obviously it's all there, but you actually have to sit down and do all the work, and that's still something only few people do.
And actually on that, did you feel throughout this period of time, so from 2007 on or whatever it was, that like there was an onus on you guys creating the content for the poker school, that it had to get more sophisticated as it went along? Like that it wasn't okay, so the same basic information in 2007 was good enough for people starting in 2010?
Because it was such a basic thing, really.
Okay.
Just like a new player signs up.
It's always in new players,
Yeah, so here's the poker school, and then it really just teaches you hand strength and like the starting hands. And
Okay, so it's that very early
it's
information.
that very early. And then obviously we started having more and more coachings, and that started being a bit more higher level, but still never in that direction.
So you would have always seen what you did was introducing brand new people to getting the basics, but then of course if they none of them would have been like profitable
You
when
reach
they were
the
finished. They would have had to
somehow,
move on from there.
When
Okay.
people were in the forums trying to take some conversations higher, but a lot of people that then moved on to other training sites. That's usually what happened.